for the last couple of minutes. We're going to be welcoming in on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line a host of this show. So good morning.
No.
Hang on.
He's a guest.
He's also a host.
He's not here.
Okay.
He's a guest. We're going to treat him like a guest. Put him on the clock.
So Jay Will joins his own program on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Jay, good morning, man. How you doing?
Zubin, don't let Keyshawn force you into telling you that I'm a guest on my own show with Keyshawn. Don't let him do that. Well, Keyshawn, what are you doing going on national TV and radio trying to tell people comparing the Boston Celtics to the Philadelphia 76ers? What are you doing?
Think about what I said, though, Jay. Were you asleep, or did you get third-hand information, or did you actually hear it?
Oh, no, I listened to the conversation with you and Kendrick Perkins.
Well, see, okay. This is why I say this, and let me explain myself to you, Jay Will. If you look at where the Celtics were, 3 out of the last 4, they've been in a championship, the Eastern Conference Final.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been getting better and better. We've been waiting for them to get over the hump. They're down 2-0 to Miami. My whole point is we were waiting for Philadelphia, not Embiid laziness, not Simmons not being able to shoot. Don't look at that. I'm just talking about what we had as far as expectations for them over the last several years in disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. Is this getting ready to happen to the Celtics, disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, when it's going to get stronger when KD and Kyrie comes to Brooklyn? There's a guy that you know, one of the top 3 players, that is going to land on the courts in Brooklyn next season. Miami's going to get better. Milwaukee could get better depending on what happens with Giannis. And so when you start to look at that, could the window be closed on them in this situation a couple years from now? That's all I'm saying.
No, all I'm saying is I know we live in the vortex of we need to win yesterday. And if you can't win yesterday, then it's time to blow it all up. But
I didn't say blow up. I didn't say blow up.
All I'm saying, Key, is that they just had Kimba for his first year. It's in the midst of a pandemic. It's 2020. They're down 2-0, but they've all been single-possession games. And they've been to the conference finals 3 out of the 4 years. Like, that's incredible. And you have 2 stars in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown that are still trying to figure it out. But, like, is KD and Kyrie coming? Yeah, we'll see how KD operates off that Achilles injury. That's a big-time injury. I haven't seen a lot of players come back and be exactly the way they were other than maybe Dominique Wilkins. That's realistically it.
Mm-hmm.
Other teams are coming, but I mean, it's like Golden State's coming back next year too. So I think you keep this core together. And look, man, I don't believe that 2-0 down is like this thing, like the series is over. They can easily win 2 games against Miami. They could have won these past 2 games. It would have been a completely different scenario. That's all I'm saying.
No, and that's true. But we also said here on Keyshawn, Jay Will, his show, along with Zubin, and said that the Nuggets was cooked at 3-1 for the Clippers, right? We sat here and said that. And then look what happened. That's all I'm saying is when you look at the Sixers situation, high praise the process. They got it right. Everything, they're going to be okay. It didn't work out. The coach wound up getting fired. I'm not insinuating that that's going to happen in Boston. The only thing that I'm saying is the conference is only going to get better, so that window could be closing with everything that's surrounding the conference. That's all I'm saying.
I don't see the window closing. I think the window is still pretty open for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But I will say this, Key, to add to your point. I mean, Brad Stevens has gotten out-coached the past 2 games now. I don't know why you wait until the 4th quarter to put Grant Williams in as the 5. It seemed like he was the only person that knew what the hell he was doing, getting the ball in the middle of the zone. Eric Spoelstra switched to like a 3-2 zone. And, man, I'm sitting out here watching the game last night, watching the Bengals game as well at the same time, thinking to myself, man, like, I don't understand how you can't figure out a zone offense. I mean, Key, you're a hooper too. We've been playing against zone offense since we've been in 1st grade. You get the ball in the middle of the zone, you turn your face, you make a play. It felt like Boston all of a sudden went to this ISO ball. I can do it by myself. And I don't understand that. I don't understand how one of the best minds in the game of basketball could not figure out a 3-2 zone with the highly powered skills offensively that the Boston Celtics have. It's beyond me.
I think when you go back to the first half of the game, as you watched it, and obviously on NBA Countdown and doing what you do as an analyst, the first half of that game, Kemba Walker had a decent game because it was less zone and more man. And I think they were still stuck in that in the second half when Spoelstra made that switch. They were still kind of stuck. So therefore, to speak to Brad Stevens, he never made that adjustment, second half adjustment. Spoelstra countered second half adjustment zone. He never countered, and he just let him continue to play iso ball.
Well, that's the problem, though, Key, right? Like, they scored more points in the paint in the first half than they did, in the other half throughout the course of the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's ridiculous. The more points combined than they did in the first game for points in the paint in a half. So, yeah, you played Enes Kanter. Yeah, you scored a lot of points in the paint, but isn't that what coaching is all about? Adjusting on the fly, changing up your scheme. It's not like you're looking at the Celtics saying that they lack the versatility pieces to actually do so. We're just watching Spo out-coach Brad Stevens. That's
I think
flat out period what it is.
I think it's sometimes in coaching, though, a shock to your system happens when you don't expect something. You don't expect for him to come out in the second half and play zone. So then you don't have any adjustments ready. You figure, okay, I could call timeout. We can make that adjustment on the fly during a timeout. But coaches get shocked in the moment, and sometimes they never get back to making those adjustments.